I would never sit in one place for 2 hours because I'd be like, I'm sore. I gotta move. Can you help me up? By the time I left, I went back downstairs. Like, forget the elevator. I drive my wife to work. I drove her in the morning, drove back home. It's only 3 miles. And I went to take all my glasses. When I got home and took them off, I went like this. I wasn't wearing glasses.
Hey, Randy, thanks so much for coming to spend time with me today.
Yes, glad to be here.
Yeah, happy to meet you. So we want to hear your story, of course. So can you start by telling the listeners a little bit about how you were feeling prior to coming to QHS?
Before all this, 6 years ago, I had diagnosed with a neurodegenerative disease, and they said there's no cure, and they said probably within 2 years you'll be in a walker, wheelchair, whatever, right? So I thought, okay, went to physical therapy, went to a few doctors here and there, went to a bunch of neurologists, and just kept doing exercise. I do Qigong every day. I do Tai Chi at least 3 times a week. And I exercise a lot. I still go fishing, but I have a hard time walking. The coordination, because it deals with the cerebellum, so the coordination is off. So you lose your balance. I've fallen, I don't even know how many times, but I fell, got a concussion, busted here, broke my elbow. One of those things.
Oh, wow. Did they name the disease or did they just say it's a neurodegenerative?
No, it's an autoimmune disease, but it's also neurodegenerative. It's progressive. It's called the spinocerebellar ataxia.
Oh.
So it's ataxia, which has to do with gait, but it's similar to, I guess, MS, Parkinson, and having a stroke. So it's got a little bit of everything all in one package.
Wow.
So, and then my dad lives in a retirement building, and someone moved in a year ago. And we met her. They ended up going ballroom dancing together a few times. When we met her, she mentioned this device. And I had seen it before. I was like, oh, yeah, I looked that up. Didn't really look deep, but she told him about it. And I was like, let me look into it. She always asked me, do you think you'll get it? And I was like, I had an engineering background, so I have to know how it works. And I thought everything was based on modern physics and energy and frequency. And I thought, okay, this is up my alley, but I still couldn't buy into it, right? I was like, I got to get a device so I can take it apart. But, my dad got one about 6 months later, and he's 80, he'll be 87.
Oh.
He will ballroom dance for 2 hours, and no one can keep up with him because he won't take a break. He doesn't sit down. And they're like, you're too much energy, right? So a month ago, he's like, hey, you know what? I got you one. And I'm like, well, why? He goes, what have you got to lose? And I thought, you know what? At one point, you have to figure out, maybe just accept it, right? It comes from somewhere that we don't know. Well, I know, because you guys are based on divine scripture. I know where it comes from. So I thought, you know what? Quit trying to figure out how it works and just take it. That's where it goes. So I got mine, and I'm telling you, it's been nuts. The things I can do.
That's awesome. So what did you first notice and how long did it take?
2 hours. because it was at a point where I would go to acupuncture every other week to try to get my neck loosened up, because if you're scared to fall, you're always tense. Your arms don't move because you're waiting to fall. I couldn't back up a car because I couldn't turn my head. Like, I could turn this much, but I usually have to have my wife tell me if it's clear. So she helps me back up the car. 2 hours of wearing this, I was at the grocery store and I backed up and didn't realize. I was, whoa, I just backed up the car and my neck didn't hurt. It was still a little stiff, and I thought, okay, maybe that's a fluke. But then the more I did it, the looser it got. So 2 hours into it, I felt the first, going back, it was that moment right there, something kicked in.
Wow, that's cool. So you know that the wave is working.
It was working right there. And everyone I've talked to several people, and they're, oh, give it a day, give it 3 days. And it was instant. I was like, wait, it can't be. No, it can't be, right? There isn't a cure-all for something. I think it might be. I think it is.
That's amazing. Did you notice any other benefits besides your neck?
Oh, yeah. Like I said, I had to list it because I'm thinking that I'd get long-winded, because you get real excited about doing this and you're like, oh, I got to tell people. But I kept it all to myself, right? I'm like, I'm not going to tell anyone. 2.5 days later, my dad asked me to come by his place to eat lunch. And I'm like, no, I don't want to. There's no parking. He lives at the beach. I live at the beach. He's literally 4 miles away from me. I parked. I couldn't find a parking space in the front of his building. I ended up having to park a block away. And I could probably walk about 50 feet before anything happens. Usually my wife helps me walk. And I don't use a rollator. I don't use a cane or anything. I just figure if I'm going down, I'm going down.
Oh, you're stubborn.
Yeah, kind of. But I walked the whole block. He lives on the 12th floor. And I got to his building and decided, something hit me. I go, I'm going to use the stairs. He lives on the 12th floor. Well, I tried it once before, probably about 6 months ago, to go upstairs. It probably took me 25 minutes. I had to stop every few flights and take a breather. Legs would hurt, knees would hurt, ankles, everything hurt, all right? I made it up the stairs, 12 flights, holding the handrail, but I still made it up the stairs in 6 minutes. I was timing myself. I got up there and he looked at me and he goes, why are you so sweaty? Right? But then I told him what I just did. He goes, oh, you have to tell, I don't know if we can say names on here. It might be some HIPAA thing, right?
No,
but
it's fine.
His friend lives on the 13th floor, the one who turned us on to this. And she's on the Q&A call every week. She knows if I have a question about this, I ask her first, because she would know, because she's been there. And she will send me Telegram links to look at this and that. But I decided, you know what, I'm going to tell her. Went upstairs, another flight, knocked on her door, and I called her on the phone. I go, are you home? And she goes, yes. I said, can I come by? She goes, yeah, I'll wait for you. Where are you? I said, at your door. Told her I went 13 flights. And she was like, because she knows how to walk. She's like, tell me you didn't. And I was like, I did. So she's like, that's incredible. you know, and then I was just gonna tell her what all happened, what was happening, right? But 2 months before with this condition, I also lost the ability to speak. I couldn't get the air out, couldn't get the voice out. Your tongue gets fat. People don't understand you. They're like, "What'd you say? What'd you say?" So we ended up having a conversation for 2 hours. I would never sit in one place for 2 hours because I'd be like, "I'm sore. I gotta move. Can you help me up?" By the time I left, I went back downstairs. Like, forget the elevator. Don't need it.
Wow, that is a game changer. I mean, in a massive way. That's amazing. How many days had you had the device at that point? Did you say 2 weeks?
No, 2.5 days.
Oh,
2.5 days.
wow,
I'm telling
Randy.
you, it continued from there. It's like, let me see, in 4 days, the next day, a Sunday, I had all this energy. I woke up. I don't wake up before 7. Actually, I don't wake up before 8, and my wife usually has to get me up. I was awake before her. And that whole day, I think I raked 5 bags of leaves. My yard is small, but I edged the yard. I cleaned my son's boat for him because it was there, I guess. But by the end of the day, I thought, I'm really tired. I never go to sleep before 10. I slept from 7 p.m. till 7 a.m. straight.
Oh,
And
wow.
I woke up, I was like new. I was like, oh my gosh, Monday. So
Wow, that's amazing.
it, you can't explain it, but but you can. It's one of those things. I know why. If I told somebody, they'd be like, no, so I
What would you tell them?
tell you, you have to believe in something. I think you really have to believe in it, because I didn't believe in it for a year. It took me a year to buy into it. Finally, you just got to give yourself up. Maybe that's it. Everyone's different, but I'm telling you, I had this it's a true telltale sign when I have the device and it's working. Because I also have to wear these special glasses to drive. They're one lens is about this thick. It's a
Wow.
prism lens because my eye wanders this way. So I have to bring it in. My neck always hurts and I actually get knots in the back of my neck because of that, because of my eyes. And if I don't wear the glasses, I can't see the TV. I can't drive. Everything's double. I can't tell how far things are. I will tell you that Sunday, it was Tuesday, 6 days after. I drive my wife to work. I drove her in the morning, drove back home. It's only 3 miles. And I went to take all my glasses. When I got home, it took them off. I went like this. I wasn't wearing glasses.
Oh my gosh.
Didn't realize. I'm like, right? So I put the glasses on and I couldn't see. I was like, what's wrong with these things? Took them off. For a week, I watched TV without glasses.
Oh my gosh, Randy, you're like the perfect candidate here. I mean, this is like, to me, this is like divine alignment.
What else can it be? Right?
My goodness.
It's been, and if you, and then I also have another disease, I guess, kind of, because my doctor figured out, wait, let's get to the source. He changed my diet and everything, right? And I don't need to be on a diet, but he changed it. He was, we're going this way. He had a hunch to test me for, do you know what? Have you ever heard of MTHFR?
Yeah.
So I showed up positive for 2 gene variations. Usually, I guess everyone has, a lot of people have one. I inherited both. And he goes, you can't eat folic acid. Everything in our food has folic acid, right? Even in things like gluten, he said, let's go gluten-free for a few months. As a treat to myself, because I felt so good, I thought, I'm going to eat a Reuben sandwich with regular bread because the gluten bread is so bad. It doesn't taste good. It's like cardboard. So I thought, I'm going to give myself a treat. But if I ingest any of it, I can't drive home because I'm basically drunk. It makes me feel like I'm totally drunk. So I usually ask my wife, she has to drive home. I ate a sandwich, parked a half a block away, went home, drove home, just like that.
Wow.
So
Wow. That's interesting.
yeah, it's been a journey, tell you that.
What does your wife say about all this?
That's another thing, because she's also, I mean, she goes, if it works, okay. If it doesn't, okay, you know. But she doesn't baby me or anything. She's like, if you fall, I'll pick you up.
You member?
You know, she's on member. But I tried an experiment with her because she came home and she's always complaining. I think it's her sciatica. I'm not sure, but her hip and her lower back hurt on one side. So one night she goes, gosh, it really hurts tonight. I worked too long today, I think. So I had this bright idea to slip it under her pillow at night. And I knew it hurt because she was like, oh, it really hurts today. It's painful. In the morning, I go, does your back hurt still? She goes, I don't feel it at all. I go, really? She goes, yeah, what'd you do? I go, nothing. So I didn't tell her. And then I waited another day or so and she complained about it again. She goes, gosh, it's starting to really hurt. I go, well, just sleep. I did it again. The next morning, it was gone again. So she found the device under her pillow. She goes, hey, isn't this your dad's? I go, no, I got one. She goes, oh, does it work? I go, you tell me. And I confessed that I put it under her pillow. So now every night she's like, move over. You know, she move over. We sleep on one pillow.
Aw.
She's trying to suck up some of my frequency. She was, I think I need a little bit of your frequency.
That's so cute. Yeah, that happens. I mean, I've heard of a lot of couples that one spouse is a member and the other isn't. And they've gone, even like the spouse that isn't, just by sleeping with the spouse that is, that their blood pressure all of a sudden is normal and they have to go off of their medication. And, you know, they're having benefits just by having it at sleep time.
Oh, yeah, it's great. So
That's awesome. So is there
yep.
anything else that you've noticed, Randy? Or are you ready to go on to the next part?
Let's go on the next part.
Okay. So I'm sure you've heard of the QARC, and we are going to have an opportunity, hopefully very, very soon, to experience it. And after that experience, all of the cells in your body are going to be like that of a healthy 30-year-old. It's like you get a do-over, a second chance on life. However, you keep the wisdom that you've gathered through the decades. What excites you about that? What are you going to do?
I think if you mention turning back time, that's the one thing you can't turn back, right? But physically, if you could turn that back, I love being 30. If you could do that, I would be all over it. If you could tell me this is it. If you want to do everything you did back then, that was a prime. I think 30 to 40 was like the prime time. So it's really exciting.
Yeah. What are you going to do though? So you've been in this body that doesn't cooperate lately, right? For the last few years. So what are you
Yep.
going to do when that body all of a sudden has energy and vibrant and there's no limits?
I know I can't sit still. You have to spread the word too, right? People need to see a witness. Well, nothing's better to use as a witness than they look at me. People look at me and I'm like, oh, what are you doing? They're like, because I think a few years back, I actually had a knee brace, fell, tore my ACL. So I had a knee brace and a cane, right? So I'm like, okay. They're like, are you getting better? And I was like, I think so. I don't like to say much. I'm one of those that I don't want to jinx myself, right? But I tell them I'm getting better. They're like, I thought there was no cure. So if I'm going to be the example, put me out there. You know, I don't hold any reservation about going and telling people.
Good. And here's the thing, people just don't know what they don't know, and so
Exactly.
there's so many concepts out in the world that we're completely unaware of. And that I think was on purpose. So, but now that the cat is out of the bag, we have hundreds of member testimonials and we have a way that we can help everyone. So whether they even realize it or not, that's the thing. You have had such profound changes. I'm so excited. Will you come back and do another interview after the Q arc?
Oh, gladly. Gladly. I actually was, I think, let me see, since I got it, because people have seen it, I think my sister signed up for it. Her husband did. Her brother-in-law did because he has ALS. And me and him, we hit it. We started going down this path the same time. And he's just deteriorating faster than me. And he saw me, he even asked, he goes, because he has to text. And he goes, how are you able to talk still? He can't talk. I'm like, I think you should try this. And he's looked into it. I think there's something else out there floating on the internet, this other thing. They didn't buy into it. We told him about this, and he signed up within 5 minutes. I said, you know what? Throw up a Hail Mary and hope it hits, right?
Wow.
So it's one of those, because I think my uncle, that same night, he calls me, he goes, hey, what was the name of that thing again? He signed up for it. He's 84, I think. So
That's awesome. What a great example you are leading for your family. That's beautiful. Thank you, Randy. You're so awesome.
I hope somebody else. I've been hesitating about doing this because it's one of those things that, I'm not really good at this. But then I thought about it. I thought, if I could help one person with it by telling you what happens, maybe that's the key. One person.
That's right.
So,
That story about the starfish?
Yeah.
You saved that one.
Save one, right?
Yeah, that is awesome. So what would you like to say in closing, my dear?
Oh, the whole thing on this to me is you have to believe, right? It's based on, and I saw that the company is based on divine scripture. And I think if I did this last year, it wouldn't work. It probably wouldn't, because I didn't really, I got into this thing where I decided, COVID, we're home, I'm going to read the Bible. So I read the Bible, like words, though, didn't know it, didn't learn it. Then I started reading it because I have this ad that tracks how many, you reading it. But then I was trying to make sure I tracked every day. Oh, I got 48 days on this thing. Then I realized, I think I'm reading it for the wrong reason. But now I think after a year of doing it, now I look to try to read it, and I get words off the app, our QHS app. I get words off there, and I'll look it up. So it's forcing me to go in between, and everything comes from somewhere, and it comes from one place to me. So I think if you're ready for it, just receive it. That's all I can say. Believe
Awesome.
in it. Yep.
That's absolutely true, because thoughts become things, and we have the power to absorb and we are the creators of our own reality. So by allowing it to be and knowing that it's going to work, you are creating your future with that. You are creating every moment with your knowing. So I think that's a really profound point. Thank you for sharing that.
But all I can say is thank you. I appreciate all of you.
Thank you, Randy. It's such a pleasure to meet you and to hear your story. I cannot wait to get this out. So thank you for coming and spending some time with me today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much. I enjoyed it.
Thank you for making this QHS project fly. This valorous admin team, thank you. The Key community welcomes you. Thank you for making your home QHS healthy and happy. Thank you for helping us place QH centers all around the world. Together, hand in hand, we make miracles happen. QuantumHealingSystems.org. Thank you.